What a great gig. This gig was brought to you by Richard Gibbons and Frank Kelly, authors of the renowned, nay notorious, Julia Hawkins, Resource Pricing and the Evolution of Congestion Control, written in April 1999. It's the season of the witch. And so I've got to deal with all the people I've left out of my life. And ignored. My ex-wife, number one, because we were married in God's eyes, but neither of us knew that he was looking. And my daughter, who was born of holy matrimony, and some more than miraculous act of something or other. But anyway, that's when this paper was written. And what they did was they attached a small fee to each ticket and then evolved and just let the system evolve. I don't think there really was a genetic algorithm in here. I think they just let congestion control evolve. But I'm still not sure it's such a long paper. Shall we read it? Julia? Julia liked what I wrote because she said, that's good use of a semicolon. And I was proud. I was so proud that she knew that I knew how to use a semicolon. Or do we go back to Romilly's reprimand? God, that was a downer. Wow. I think I got a whole new family. In addition to the other one, I think I got two families. And this happens. It turns out to be the clip that I missed, that the first time they live streamed, I didn't see that. I just came in at the crazy dark side of the moon. The one before Run Rabbit Run, when I joined the first one, which I think also was just it's all just recordings. They wouldn't be so flipping mad to do live streams, would they? I mean, you never know what's going to happen at one of those concerts. 3,000 people turning up wanting tickets to get into a little rehearsal room in Brighton somewhere. And Nick Cave just goes for a swim. I don't know, it's just not... It was nice to be able to talk to Richard. That's how I got to know Richard, was because I did this thing and interviewed him. And then he came to work at the computer lab. And he was the one who helped me with my topology. He was a great mathematician. But he didn't, he just said, I'm just a statistician. I had all these wonderful teachers, and now here I am. I refuse to leave my room and go and teach at Fitzwilliam or wherever. I stay here. I talk shit to myself, film it and put it out to the world, and nobody watches it. But I'm so mad that when I go to the job centre, it sounds like everyone in there has taken in just about everything I've said on videos for the last week and is spitting it back out of me, cooked. Look at this. They've done this kind of photo montage thing, blurred, and they made beautiful Hannah look like a man, and Dan and Dot have been blurred to oblivion. That's my fault, because I'm homophobic. And then when they morphed her face with their faces, and it was actually Dot's face, and they'd done an AI, or they'd done a composite photo or something. I was only mildly freaked out by the composite photo on the back of Structure and Interpretation of Classical Mechanics. But I thought it was interesting, because when you actually studied it, you could see a woman in there and you could see a man in that photo. Have a look at it. Go out and buy yourselves a copy. It's only 50 quid. Beautiful paperback book called Structure and Interpretation of Classical Mechanics by Sussman. Oh my goodness, you see, now I've forgotten all the other authors. Well, I'm sure Jerry Sussman was the boss. Jerry Sussman, who wouldn't reply to my emails. But who I met, he's a very striking fellow wearing a cowboy. I don't know if he had his cowboy hat on, but he had this great little leather thingy necktie made of a thong. I mean, I have to interpret this right, a piece of leather. I don't mean some guy's thong after he's worked in a nightclub or not. So this is what Hannah and I put together for your delight. See, as I was watching Jeremy Narvi, I got this email. Hannah, listen to the voice note, because I didn't play Into Gold because I was scared. I thought it was something about money or something about delirious people who went nuts investing in gold, Vladimir Putin perhaps, because of something I wrote. And all I was worried about in that was Bolivians, when the gold price goes up, they go and dig a bigger hole in the side of the river. And I wanted to come up with a scheme where there are these old gold mines in Bolivia. They're really dangerous, some of them. Some of them are just they're just one family outfits that dig these mines into the banks. People are often killed. And they build these tunnels and then prop them up with bits of stick and stuff and dig the gold out. And my plan was to turn Bolivia into the World Bank and stick the gold back into the mines and concrete it up. And it would belong to the Pachamama, from whom it was dug in the first place. So I did this, and they've let that video through. So they're not going to let this one through if I carry on, but you can watch that. I didn't know what I was doing. it was interesting hearing Jeremy Narby. I was really interested in Jeremy Narby. Was great in that interview. He talks about how long it takes to reintegrate a psychedelic experience. And it depends how much trauma there was in it, how long it went on, and so, no, this destroyed me. I did all this stuff. It's vaguely coherent, but then my phone rebooted and my backup stopped, and then I started thinking about money, and I got this warning on Jeremy Narby. He's not talking about reptilian humanoids at all. That's not an AI hallucination. That's somebody who's targeting me, targeting Jeremy Narby. And then, of course, he said he went to Stanford, and then I think about Stanford Chapel and that horrible murder, and so I got into a real stew. An hour ago, I couldn't do any more. I just went and lay down and talked to myself for a bit. So I said, we can talk through this stuff. These are epistemologies, not an ontology. They're different ways of knowing, or they're different ways of learning. They are not what is real. And you need to be able to look at all these different ways of learning, including, I suppose, you don't have to. I mean, you can ignore some. But different people have different ways of learning stuff. And different stuff to learn. So eventually I convinced myself I was a lizard. I was one of these reptilian lizard creatures, and that's why people in Britain hated me so much until I left the country. And then they got all really happy, and London Grammar did this fantastic thing. That is so good, that song. They are so in the zone. It's just, and happy. It's amazing. I don't remember when it was at 2011. And then Glastonbury 2017, that sounded just as good. I didn't watch the whole video. And Germany in 2014. And that's when I was sitting in a cafe in La Paz crying. I spent an afternoon crying because I thought I'd been abandoned. The special forces dude who was trying to do all this sorting out the computer world had just been completely abandoned. And 2 days later I moved out of my hotel and began my career as a homeless dude. But I cried and cried all afternoon. There were these beautiful German girls sitting at the table next to me, and they didn't say anything to me. They didn't look, or they weren't bothered. They were just there with me. And afterwards I said thank you. I tried to say thank you in German. They were so lovely. So there's that. That's that post. And it ends with Nick Cave saying, "Well, here we go now." How he ends that song is absolutely fantastic. But Nick, this isn't the level of what you were doing before. I think your managers are overworking you quite severely. And I really don't think you should go to places like Miramar Studios. I know it's swish, but I don't think that place was enough. Spaceship. So maybe this is just a Hollywood war. But into gold is good. Turning darkness into gold. That's a lovely idea. But metaphorical gold, not bullion. Or maybe you can. I mean, I did say I had this idea about purifying dissolved minerals, extracting them from water using biological systems, and then burning the gold. And I got it all off walls in Cacahuatan, which is a town they renamed as a joke just because they knew I was going to turn up. Just like they called Lake Titicaca because they knew I was going to show up and go and try and marry the Pachamama and live at the bottom of the lake with her. But you don't know what she looked like. I invented that afterwards. She's lovely. Didn't wear any clothes and swam around underneath in this cavern where there was zero gravity. It was at a kind of Lagrange point, but I had to create that. That was due to the extra mass of water in the lake and something else I can't remember. There were thermal currents, and she lived down there, looked after all the little animals. But it's no good if I don't write it down, is it? If I can't describe all that in words, and I can't really remember that much. There was a system. There was actually a nuclear reaction going on in the middle of it. And there was some kind of inversion as well. Yeah, there was an inversion. It was a meniscus, there were two, because of the gravitational field down there. There was water on the ceiling and water on the floor and a gap in between, and there was a passage of drops from one to the other, which was thermally driven. So blobs of cold water, because blobs of warm water would move up and blobs of cold water would move down, and there was this mingling going on in the air between, and then underneath and up the sides and around the top was all water. So it was a kind of well, it was a different kind of geometry, a different kind of gravitation, I guess. It did make a lot more sense when I was thinking it. But there were all these amazing creatures you'd never ever seen before, that lived down there. And they would come in and out through these vents and then appear in rivers. And it was to try and explain these birds that showed up one day. Which is probably because somebody spiked my cocoa with LSD. Although I can't believe that. I saw those birds and they were like in pools of light. And they were actual birds. I never for a second doubted it. It was because I stayed up all night cleaning my house because I thought that girl from Cochabamba and those two Brazilians were going to want somewhere to stay, because that other place, the Buena Vista, is it called, or was a bit expensive for them or something. I thought I'd let them come and stay if they wanted. So I cleaned the whole place and did all the washing and washed all my clothes and did everything. Stayed up all night, and then it was when I walked back up the hill the next day, sleep deprived and tired, I saw these birds. Because I was thinking, they're going to help me. And I was just completely lost. And this comment at the bottom, this is going to upset Jez Rose. Because I was sitting on Facebook posting all these videos, and he said, why you instead you should do something else instead of promoting all these bands. I said, oh, fuck off. And I said, I'm not promoting them, they're promoting me. And I don't think I heard much from him ever since. And his name is Jez Rose. Can you believe that? I must be a reptilian monster. I promoted myself above Jesus. And Jesus didn't rise. Look at what happened. Look what Mylan Farmer did. Mylan Farmer buried him by the look of it. She went all red and reptilian and at the end of this. Have you seen it? Of course you have. Everyone's watched this. But at the end, oh, put him up again. No, he's still up. It's all right. Yeah, that's what I saw, and I thought, oh, she buried it. But that last one, I don't know, that looked like a Templar cross to me. Oh, and I was thinking of this. I was thinking of this song yesterday. That's not bad. That's not bad, YouTube. I didn't say a word. I didn't whistle. I just thought. After I saw I said to somebody, is that 88 to 90 Baker Street? You figure out who. That still reminds me of my little brother. He was into militaria and he was a cute little boy. And he loved this album. Fish is going to copyright this one. That's alright, Fish. You did it, man. How many times, I don't know. My God. But, yeah, not bad, girls. Not bad. They know which song I'm talking about. Geniuses are being silenced. Einstein wouldn't survive academia's publish or perish. Yeah, well, he perished, didn't he? Fuck immortality. And what destroyed me was this. This is not copyright.
And what can you tell us about Lasso coming out later this year? You've gone country, right?
Lasso?
Oh, geez. Well, I mean, what can I say now? What can I say now? I mean, when I gave Jack Antonoff his award,
Now listen to this. Listen to this.
For Best Producer of the Year, and I said, I said, welcome Nashville to Hollywood, and Hollywood welcome Nashville, because the music business
Okay, it's this bit.
is gone country, and it went silent.
It's just those 3 words. You want me back? Sorry, Hannah. Sorry, Julia. Sorry, everybody. The Witch of Hollywood got me. I'm Jeremy Narby. So then when I read this, I thought, well, hang on. How do you know there's something there? Well, because of the way, I don't know how I knew in Bolivia that there was something there. It was, there's some nonsense, But when I lived in San Jose de Chipiamonas and I learned about the little rules, like when you eat an animal that you've killed from the forest, you mustn't let the dog have the bones, because you won't kill anymore. You won't get much more meat if you do that. You mustn't give the dog the bones of the... And I spent a long time thinking about the different rational ways of understanding that. And I've destroyed the hunting for Estacio Valdez, because I'm sure I gave the dog some monkey bones, or I don't know what else he shot while I was living there. I don't know if we ever ate monkey there. Don't think we did. I think he just wasn't shooting anything. I don't think it was my fault. He just didn't have very good luck hunting. He wasn't into hunting as much as his brothers. brother-in-law. But I only got there because I was abandoned by people at Cambridge. So thank you for everyone at Cambridge. Thank you for leaving me to get a new education and become a shaman. Now I'm in trouble, aren't I, saying that? So I wonder what else it was I said that in that video of 2nd of, what was it, 2nd of September? I haven't actually read much of what Dan Greenberg and that other guy, Dan Hershenson, wrote. It looks like it was a whole book, Anaxagoras and the Birth of Physics, 1964. They published a book, so that paper is probably just a fragment of it. But he didn't do much else. He immediately went on announcing a new school, a personal account of the beginnings of Sudbury Valley School. Well, that's not immediate, that's 7 years later. And he was a physicist at Columbia University. And he was the principal philosopher amongst its founders, the school. He was a physics professor at Columbia University and was described by Louis Holzman as the school's chief philosophical writer. Louis Holzman is director and co-founder of the East Side Institute in New York, where she developed Lois. It's Lois. I haven't got my glasses on. Where she developed social therapy methods with Fred Newman. She's known for her research and work in play therapy, social therapy, and criticism of the medical model of mental health. Daniel Greenberg, it's very nice to meet you. Welcome back to hell. I hope you weren't missing it. (1960) Theory of allowed and forbidden transitions in muon capture reactions. Theory of hyperfine anomalies of deuterium, tritium, and helium-3. Whoa. Idea Notebook, Teaching Justice Through Experience. 1991, Learning Without Coercion. Sudbury Valley School in the periodical called Mothering. 1985 to 92, regular column in the Middlesex News on Education in America. But I didn't read it because I somehow knew that he knew, because of the way he described, the way Aristotle described what are they called? What's his name and all that lot? I can't find it. Those poor philosophers, he damned them to obscurity because I can't even remember their names. So yeah, Jeremy Narby, that was really good. I mean, just listen. Well, it's only about 30 minutes divided into a few videos because they're in the playlist. You can just watch them all one by one.
Greetings, friends. This is Henrik Palmgren. I hope you are doing well and that you feel good wherever you are, and hopefully you're excited to be on planet Earth. Welcome to everyone listening from around the world. This is Pieces to the Puzzle.
So the aliens must have made a big thing of that.
We have anthropologist and author Jeremy Narby with us today from Switzerland, who back in 1999 released the book The Cosmic Serpent, DNA and the Origins of Knowledge. In 2006, Intelligence in Nature was released, and he joins us today to talk about his anthropological work in the Peruvian Amazon, living next to the Guirishari and studying the source of their knowledge. We talk about DNA, the roots.
What? Intelligence in Nature. All we need to do is take some nature and put it in the universities, and then we'll fix the problem. Rewilding the universities, that's my job. And this is how you do it. You pack in your job and you fuck off.
Looks like the 2022 fire season has started early. I came up this way just because it's nice.
You can go to California, you just stay in Baja California, it's much cheaper. People are much smarter on the whole. And what a beautiful city. Tecate is really the gem of a town. I was incredibly lucky to be able to stay there so long, especially when I was in that hotel room. Wow. That was the pinnacle of my American. That was my what's the thing when you aphelion? No, it's to do with the earth, so it's the, can't remember. So yeah, I've been all over the place today and did fuck all of what was on my to-do list. STEC 3 Hello World. I was thinking I need to do something more than just write Hello World. I need to cook up a little higher order functor in standard ML and stick that in. Install VS Code mathlib. So it's quite tricky. The STEC 3 on its own is just some. Well, I'm not sure what it is. I haven't gone into this yet. There's a fair bit of stuff to do, but it looks like it's got one of these VS Code. If you've got VS Code running, you can search for STEC 3 or mathlib and do it. And I was going to make a README for standard ML for the lady programmer. The README was going to be instructions on how to, what sort of system you need. Like, the only thing I can recommend for tech is a Linux distribution with Tech Live, and you probably need most of Tech Live, but maybe not the optional ones. I was going to look up which packages, and then for that particular, to match the rest of the typesetting, for which I no longer have latex source, I'm going to have to use the same fonts, which are URW Garamond and Deja Vu Sans. So URW Garamond is free for personal use. I probably have to pay to be able to publish it in a book, but I can pay. We can pay. since the whole world is helping me, although no one has expressed any interest in seeing any of this. So there's a GitHub repo there, which is private, because I thought, stop doing all your shit in public. It just makes more problems than it solves. But then I feel it's just me, and then I lose what's the point of doing it if it's just me? If it's just me, then forget it. So it was going to be how to download and install those fonts, because it's not that easy. You've got to actually undo the tar file, and you've got to copy the font files to the right place, and then I was going to test PDF Tech and see. At one point, Math Design, all that only worked with Luar Tech, but that may have been because I was using a different Garamond font, a free Garamond. But for URW Garamond, it might just work if it's already installed. So PDF Tech probably works. I could try that now, couldn't I? Yes, well, it worked. Just make sure I'm opening the right one. I need to open the one from here. Yeah, that looks okay. That's Math Design doing this. It did a lot of work to get the lining up working with the font. It's not automatic. It takes tweaking. There's lots and lots of tweaking to do to get the right amount of spacing around here and all that. And it depends heavily on the font, how it looks. And this is Deja Vu Sans. So that's the next thing, which I didn't write here, which I was supposed to do listings. That uses a LaTeX listings package, and listings has a LaTeX listings for SML. It has a highlighting, so it knows what a keyword is, and it can recognize strings and comments. And I need to tell it how to do that for SML. There's surprisingly few examples on the web. There's somebody's had one go, and so I can just take his and modify it. I can get something going up, so we can get standard ML that you can copy and paste easily enough, and you can put it into SOSML. So hopefully what we'll get to is a point where you was the README, where you could actually run the code from the documents in a web window, just to try out small examples. But then the next stage would be to get STEC3 booted. And the reason I know STEC3 is serious is I've got to show you this. People who know about... Well, the whole world knows. I'm the last one in the world who doesn't know that this is how all maths has been done since since 2008, when I just before I left for Bolivia, but I wasn't paying attention. I was too busy dallying with a girlfriend and packing my bags. So where's Aztec 3? Oh, I guess I closed the page. I've got 200 tabs open on Firefox at the moment. Oh no. Aztec 3. No, didn't work. Aztec 3. And then you click on the PDF and you go to the introduction. What is Aztec? Aztec is a system, and it also, need my glasses, package with all these great properties. You see, if it's a long document, you can't use that scroll bar to scroll, because you get 200 pages for 1 pixel of movement. So there's that explanation. What is MMT? MMT is a software system and Scala API for generic knowledge management services. It is based on a version of the OMDoc ontology and document format, MMT OMDoc. Among the services MMT provides, and you think, gosh, what is OMDoc? Oh, and I took that as it's all syntax, right? And what did Hilary Putnam say to John Searle in that airport diner somewhere in that god awful town like Detroit or somewhere? He said, I think this whole reference thing can be sorted out by syntax. I think that's so. I must mention Putnam. Oh wow! And there was one massive. I searched my own blog for logic, and I found that I'd actually found this beautiful lecture by Joan Mostrovakis. Sorry if I butchered your name. About Kripke's free choice sequences. Is that what they're called? I started out well with this PhD war stories. It was yesterday's videos, and I had to do an internet vulnerability because I thought people wanted me to do that. I have this other video where I cry asking my daughter to get me a job, but I don't think I've shown her that, or me. Or did I show her? I can't remember. I haven't posted it on my... Maybe I didn't show it to her. It's called Connecticut. It's very, very quiet. A logical look at Kripke's idea of free choice sequences. And it's strongly reminiscent of things that you read in Proofs and Types by Girard Lafont and Taylor. It's about construing things as integers. And I think it amounts to, modelling integers with induction proofs and all that guff. There's nothing to this. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. This is what drives logicians mad. When you get to the end, there's nothing to say. There's nothing. You just walk out and you say, fuck it. We might as well start a school and try and teach tiny little kids properly so that they don't get involved in this shit.